Hey, hello, me.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Okay, only we two are there. Let's discuss. Okay, so last week, let me give a quick update. Mike Wooster came on the call and he
Okay.
explained all the things. There were mainly two concerns. I mean, the most important one is OPI ready for such kind of services? They all agree that I mean services is okay. The cost pricing is also all reasonable. Everything is fine. But is OPI ready? I mean, do we have enough ingredient to make the best use of the paid services of business development?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's where you will come into picture. I mean, can you? I mean, I don't know. Maybe we can talk to Mike Wister's team and everything. Hey, what do we need to ensure that we have sufficient ingredients for the business development side? For example, the messaging, all the right messaging, the contents, and everything. And can we able to go and convince the potential members to join OPI? Do we have enough contents and ingredients? So that was the main concern from the last week's meeting.
Okay.
That's maybe you can help the team working with the team. If not this month or maybe next month, when should we take a right call? Hey, now we are ready. And what all needs to be done to be ready? And when can we do that kind of a plan? Even if it's, for example, say by July, if we are ready, we can talk to the BD team that, hey, we are not ready now. We'll be ready by July. These are the actions that we are planning to be ready by July. And with this, that's where the team, you need the support from the team so that you get all the right contents and materials and everything so that you have the ingredients ready for the business development.
Mm-hmm. Did the team after Wooster presented, did the OPI team talk about it like
Like a quick, they had a brief discussion, but again, we need your expertise
Right.
to see how do we prepare for that kind of thing. Even in future, if at all we go for paid business development, how do we be ready with it? So even if I imagine, even if we go for our own members do it to begin with for next month or even for the Smart Summit, what are the contents to be ready with? Do we have right messaging with the OPI? Hey, I'm sorry, Paul is also in the call. I'm sorry, Paul, I didn't notice.
No, that's okay. You go. You're doing a great job.
I was trying to explain. I was explaining me what happened in the last meeting and what we should be ready with, so that we have the right amount of ingredients, so that we can go for the paid business development services.
Okay. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And
Go ahead,
that's
go ahead.
no, I think you're correct. We were just our concern was, are we, let's say we unleash the business development team to go do this. Are we ready? I mean, sure, we could onboard a couple new members, that's no problem. But do we have what it takes to convince new members to join? Do we have that content ready yet? And my thought was we don't yet have it ready. I don't want to waste our time. I don't want to waste the business development team's time spinning all this up and then having them go to companies and having companies be underwhelmed.
yeah.
Because we're not mature enough to message clearly what it is we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and we thought you would have a good feel for what it takes, what collaterals, what things we need to have waiting in the wings for the business development team to use to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's where we left it.
Okay. So I have several thoughts. For me, coming into this project, it's you're brand new to me too.
Right. Mhm.
So I'm still learning, but doing the social strategy and doing the research that I did, I found several articles already that picked up on OPI when we launched last year. And
Yes.
so it seems like we have a good start in terms of brand awareness or project awareness. It's just keeping that momentum, right? And so I think because this project didn't have anyone, we've lost a little bit momentum. But now, you know, we've kickstarted again. So, you know, we're working on the website. You know, we've got a press release coming out this month. You know, we'll be at the SmartNIC Summit. We've got some, you know, we'll start a white paper, and then our aim is to have a white paper, you know, later this year. We talked about doing a webinar. I think if we do all of these things together, yes, then yes, we'll be ready. We'll have all the things that we need that we can give to a new member and say, this is what we have. And, you know, these are the things that we can give you. We can give you social support. We can let you write a blog, you know, we can have thought leadership, stuff like that. But as of right now, I view us as still being like an upcoming foundation. You know,
Yes.
we're still very new and we're still gathering the materials. In my opinion, we won't be ready for someone like Wooster's team until maybe end of the year,
Okay.
probably next year, just because we don't have any of those elements yet. I think once we have all those things together, you know, things will come easier for us.
Good.
You know, we'll have the messaging, we'll have assets that we can, you know, pitch to new members. We'll have a brand new website. We'll have a white paper that we can point people to. We'll have, you know, a webinar for people who don't understand what OPI does or, you know, what our milestones are. You know, we'll have more demo videos that we could share with them. Is that what how others felt on the call?
Yes.
It makes sense to me.
Absolutely.
It's a very practical timeline, I think.
Yeah, okay. And, you know, and I have worked with Wooster's team before on business development, and once they come in and help, oh boy, do they help.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was I was okay, so they want to come in and help. Who's gonna be their contact and do that work? I'm having a difficult enough time getting people to write an abstract and commit to speaking at an event. Who's gonna do this liaison with them?
That's the biggest piece I'm worried about too, Paul, is once we have the material, then you don't need those people to be as active when they come in. You have the collateral to back you up.
Right.
That's what's going to help us, you know, be successful with that phase.
Yeah. Like we've been talking about writing this white paper for 6 months and we haven't gone anywhere with it. No one has the time. No one has taken the time to do it. So.
And that white paper, we really want it to come from the TSC, right, Paul? That's got to be a technical analysis.
Yeah.
With proof. Again, I think that white paper can come a little bit later. Like we had the same struggle in the Confidential Compute Consortium. We ended up releasing a white paper that described what the technology is. But what was lacking in that white paper was proof points. What people want to see are how does this impact my business?
Right.
You know, and that's, I think, what makes it compelling. And we're going down that direction. Our OPI is really set up to do these blueprints. And I think that's what's going to make it quite interesting in a white paper as well. So we got to focus on that. I think that's got to be our primary objective, is to get these proof points, get these blueprints, get some real life demos up.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I think that's our answer. That I think that's what we take to the board meeting next Monday, Sridhar, is
Yes. Got it.
that recommendation.
Got it.
That yeah. So I think that's what we take back to the board meeting.
Yeah. Can we time this white paper for the first year anniversary kind of thing?
Or June-ish. I mean, because that's when it
July,
Isn't that-
right?
isn't that when we started this whole thing, was June or July? Can't
July
remember.
first week of July, I think. Yeah.
First week of July. I mean, that would be great. It might even be nice to have it ready and available.
I think
for
what
next
we if we just create a skeleton document, Word document, and share it with people and say, hey, this section is yours or this section is yours, please. Well, I think once we give those kind of section assignment, people will actually sit and complete those sections. That's what I have seen in my experience. So you create a section, somebody has to lead to create a skeleton document, come up with a table of contents, come up with all the sections, then people will write.
Okay.
I mean, even when we write in our PhD thesis also, I mean, when we publish papers, right, if multiple people are working together, that's how we do in LaTeX, right? We share the sections and write down sections and it gets done.
Yeah, it does.
So same thing, I think we should take the same approach of writing a paper.
Do you feel like that we would get more support with a white paper first or with a webinar first?
Good question.
Just because we are preparing for SmartNIC Summit, right? And so we'll already have some contents for the co-located day. We'll have overviews, we have, you know, someone's giving presentations about demos and stuff, right? And so we'll have that content. So it will be fairly easier for us to then take that content and turn it into a presentation for a webinar. So it might be better for us to plan. So SmartNIC Summit is in June or it's May?
June 13th.
June 13th, yes. So then maybe if our anniversary is July, maybe we then at SmartNIC Summit, that's where we start advertising our webinar and start promotion then, and then have this webinar. Then we already have like a video that we could share, we could post on YouTube, and we've got that ready to go, and then we work on a white paper.
See, I fully agree that, but I think the people who do work on white paper and work on webinar are kind of different groups. I think so. I may be wrong. What do you guys think? Would it be the same set of people? Because I think webinar, I don't know. Maybe a product owner or product managers from these organizations who usually participate.
Yeah, it's usually at least a mix, right? You have somebody kind of outlining the overall theme and the setting up for maybe a demo or something very technical or more technical that somebody else can come in and assist with.
So at least my request is, at least in next 10 days, we should come up with a table of contents, at least within our group, or maybe we can take a first shot and come up with a TOC of white paper, and then work more on, as May mentioned, focus this group work more on the webinar first, and in fact just create the table of content and throw it open for contributors and call for contributors to write these sections. Would it be too much?
Nope, no, I think that would be great. Do we,
Maybe I can take the shot at creating the table of contents.
I was
If
just
it's
wondering
okay.
if right now we could throw ideas of what needs to be included in this paper.
Yeah.
And use this time here to
Fantastic.
do it.
Okay, so what would be like if we're thinking about a white paper, do we have any, do we call out proof points in the white paper or examples? And do we have any of those that we can call out? Like what would be the purpose of the white paper? Is it to describe how DPUs offer benefit in server architecture with an example of workloads and what happens there when you move it to the when you offload to the DPU, and or is it about the platform that's required to make this make DPUs or DPU software portable? Like, are we focusing on the theme of OPI, or do we focus on DPUs?
I think we focus on the theme of OPI and
Yes.
we cover we focus on the theme of OPI. We have a section on why does OPI matter to end users?
Correct. See, for example.
So then maybe a thought on that is to take our webinar or take our opening deck that we're planning for SmartNIC Summit and turn that into a white paper.
Turn that.
Of course, it'll be written differently than a presentation, but at least it gives you a full framework.
Right.
See, for example, if I call collaborative innovation at something, for example, instead of OpenEdge, we can call something and say we can title it so that we are giving overview of an OPI, what OPI is all about, and what we are doing here, how we are collaborating to innovate something. So these are the examples. I think that when we first discussed in last October thing, we referred to this publication, say, hey, we should do something like this.
I guess if that's the theme, then that's something that we could take on, even in the outreach group, to really put the first few sections together.
Correct.
Because it wouldn't be quite as technical. It'd be more of a business case, more of the end user benefits.
Correct.
I feel like there's information on this also already published in articles, when this group was started.
The stuff we could steal from other articles and other.
That's right. Yeah, or even articles on OPI, right? There's a number of them that have been written that explain the paradigm of DPUs and why it's so important. Well, even the blog that I recently released, right, for joining OPI, that's the theme that I went through, and I pulled out some stats from analyst reports.
Correct.
We could easily take that. In fact, that my initial offer was to donate that blog to the Linux Foundation, have the Linux Foundation write it and publish it. Like, we can take that content and expand it as well.
Okay.
I'm quite okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, that was really good content. So some of that content is already in the press release.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, the white paper would just go into a lot more details on that, I would think. When I initially started the blog, I had 3 pages of content. So I got, a lot of it got pulled out.
Yeah, and when I started the research, I do have all the links of coverage that I can share with this team.
That would be great. Mark, are you able to get into the Google Drive? Do you have rights to that, all that good stuff?
You know what? I'm really bad at keeping track. I don't know. I don't know the link. What's the link to the Google Drive? I'm not sure if I've been there.
Let me send it to you.
Anything you posted on the Slack channel, I can open up.
Okay.
That helps.
Let me share with. And are you able to use your, I've got a Gmail and an ARM account for you. Which one would be better for Google?
It has to be the Gmail, unfortunately. And yes, I can see the link to the table that you just shared, May.
Okay.
Mhm.
If someone could share me like the root of the Google Docs space, then I will
just send it to you. The root of the
bookmark that.
Google Docs. I just sent it in email. Let me get a link.
Oh, perfect. Email is fine. At least I won't lose that way. With everything with these meetings, I find with Zoom, I don't have access to this chat after. I'm so used to it with Teams that I forget to copy things,
Oh, yeah.
right? So I see your table, May, with, okay, you've got all the articles linked. Oh yeah, it's perfect.
And so that is the Google Drive, should be the main folder of the Google Drive.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I got it. I'm gonna bookmark this.
That was another thing. So do I have about 200 stickers. Should I go ahead and order more stickers? Do we
For
think?
SmartNIC Summit, absolutely.
Yeah.
How many you think? 1,000?
How many people usually attend? Do we know?
I don't know the number.
I think it was about 300 last year, so 350. I could be wrong. Let me see.
I think if there's a significant price break at 1,000, it might be worth ordering 1,000. You're going to go through them this year.
Yeah, just to have them.
Yeah, they won't go state, so you can.
If it's like business cards, you can't get less than 500 for any reasonable price.
Yeah.
And I did have one question for this team. How are we doing on the overview deck? Are we ready to go back to CS to give them the template or to have them put it in the template?
I just looked at it recently.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's been that many updates since our last session a
I
couple
have been
weeks ago.
updating that brand guide document, and let me find it. And I've been just every time I get something, I've been dropping it in there. Okay, this is a hunt for which tab, which window is it in?
You're talking about the project overview deck, right?
Yes.
The one that we're planning to present at SmartNIC. Yeah, it's last updated April 30th, so it's not too bad.
Oh, that I was talking about the document that we've been working on to share all
With the abstracts.
No, that one is, I have right here. Is this the most recent one? Yeah, that one is here. And what I'm talking about is the document where we've been putting all of the call it the branding and something guidelines from it came from Elena. Do you know which one?
The branding guidelines was already finalized and approved.
Correct, but she asked me to create a bunch more information, and I've been putting it in that document. And I told her I was doing that, and she said, "Oh, that's great. I will we'll take a look at that." And I can't find the tab that has it open. I must have.
You mean the website brief?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have that link? Looks like somehow I closed that tab.
The website brief. Did we add that to our drive?
No,
I don't see it.
it was in her drive.
Let me see if I can.
There it is. It's in the Linux Foundations drive. I'm gonna get the link and I will paste it in there.
Oh, I see, because she's calling it the brand and website creative brief.
Yeah. So sorry, there it's that next one.
Okay.
You can see that near the bottom, she was asking for headshots and bios and all of that stuff. And I've been pasting them in that document as a repository to keep everything that people are sending me.
Okay.
And then down at the bottom, I created working group descriptions doc and the video that we wanted to use on the front page. She wanted those two things as well.
Okay. So
Is that helpful?
yes, but the PowerPoint though is different from this. So the PowerPoint, we need to go back to the creative services team because we wanted them to update our graphics in our brand colors, and we wanted to
and so you want to know, is that ready for them to do work too?
Correct.
And I think we have worked up through slide 12, I believe. We have not
we're still missing a content, Paul, that I think Manoj had offered to do, but I think he's out now. The Nick continuum, right? Some of the slides at the beginning.
Yeah, 3 and 4. Manoj was gonna
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they can take and apply to this PowerPoint. They can take and apply the fonts and all of that stuff as they wish. That would be perfectly fine. You know, fix the footers, the headers, add the colors to it that we need. Because what they're really doing is yeah. So they can apply the template that we've had to this deck so far. They could I don't know if that's too messy for them, if they want a completed deck that then they work on.
Yeah, I think it's easiest for them to have the completed deck so they can then just go in and make their round of changes.
Mhm.
When do we anticipate that this will be complete, do you think? With our changes? Because we're aiming for SmartNIC Summit, right? So
Yeah. So just so you know, this is not my intent was not to use this deck as just the SmartNIC Summit deck, but as the template from which anyone can draw content to use for SmartNIC Summit as they build the demo one and the use case section and those sorts of things.
Mhm.
But yeah, you're right. We do need to have the branding and have it done before then.
I guess in that case, Paul, you need it as early as possible because
Yeah, we do.
some folks will start preparing those presentations soon. They need it in the right template.
So let me see here.
Why don't we just walk through slide by slide? I'll take notes. Maybe we can add is there a yeah, there's a section for notes in the bottom of all of these. We can just highlight what we want to change.
Okay.
So that we can be aligned and decide then if we're ready.
All right.
We can probably skip the flow because that'll come after anyways.
Yeah.
DPU, I see that slide 3 we had here, possibly add a graphic to show heterogeneous compute. We have that task.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that we need much more on this one.
Sorry, can you send me the link to what you're looking at?
Sure, I'll do that right now. Copy and paste.
Thank you. Okay.
So we put the words on this slide that we thought we needed to talk about. But we need something other than words on this slide to make that point. Is that what you're thinking, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd rather have less words, more images, and then talking points.
They can help find us images. We just need to point them in the right direction.
Okay. I think that's perfect.
So on slide 4,
Yeah, the wording is up there, right? Add diagram to show the progression. Again, I guess may these two, right? If they can help with this finding an image, especially this one here, I think this one here is straightforward. There's a lot of images out there that show it. We can get inspired, right, by some of that already published content.
Yes. I wonder though if this is because this is so technical, I wonder if they'll need an example of what you're looking for.
All right, I'll look for one.
Yeah, if you have an example, because they can either find a substitution or they can create one based on what you give them. I just think this might be a little technical from their side and they may not understand like what you're looking for.
So that link I just posted in the notes. Did you guys see that yet? So we were looking to something similar to the serve the home content from that talks about this. And if you go to that link, there's a he's got his foundational, offload, SmartNIC, DPU, and exotic NICs, and that's how he talks about the continuum. We can't use, I think we can use that naming. I don't know if we need to go to Patrick and ask him if we can use that naming in our stuff. That we like his continuum discussion. Someone on one of the calls knew him and knew him pretty well. Was that Manoj? Knew Patrick Kennedy.
I can't remember. There's another example that talks that same theme. They've got a diagram on that one as well. Just a 3 basic, intelligent, or SmartNIC, and then data processing unit.
Hey, someone's using my pendulum of. Okay.
The SRAV use case comes under functional or offload NIC?
Say that again.
In that referring to the picture,
Yep.
the SRIOV NICs, do they fall under foundational or offload?
I think they fall under
offload.
offload.
SmartNIC, yeah, DPU, yeah.
But I think the big point we want to get out here is that DPUs have a standard OS. You know, that's one of the big differences between SmartNICs and that. Like you see it called out different ways, but I think the evolution is pretty clear. I think that'll be a good one to kind of group
So
these.
I think, yeah, when you look at Patrick's continuum, an offload NIC is not programmable. A SmartNIC is more programmable than an offload NIC. So an offload NIC, you buy it and it does one type of offload only. But a SmartNIC has more programmability than an offload NIC, and then a DPU has a full-on compute complex on it.
But do you think we should highlight all 5 different categories, or does it make sense?
I think we could do foundational, SmartNIC, DPU, and then maybe exotic. I think we could lump offload and SmartNIC together. That's my thought, but
no. See, for example, if I take the eBPF use case, right? All 5 are kind of different for me. How I run my eBPF programs on all these different types of NICs.
Yeah, but I think from the point, like the point we want to make, Shri, here is that DPUs offer more flexibility, and highlighting that you're coming from a history of networking offloads. I'm not sure that we need to confuse or bring up more categories. Like you can say foundational and offload NIC as one category.
Correct. That I agree. That I agree. But putting the
SmartNIC and DPUs.
SmartNIC into one might be confusing.
okay.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, all Nicks you can support offloading some kind of picture. So it's okay to merge foundation and offload to one thing. And maybe Smart Nick and DPU and Exotic. Exotic is a good name.
But that one's might be confusing as well, right?
Yeah.
I think ending a DPU might be the better message here for us. We don't want exotic, right? Exotic is what we want to avoid with our whole OPI
Right.
project.
Yeah, the way he describes exotic is they're very expensive, very purpose-built, high-end FPGA driven cards.
Yeah, and they exist, right? Like obviously they that
yes.
happened.
We F5 uses them in our devices.
Yeah.
That's where we've been using those in our devices for a long time. FPGA and devices. So okay, where did it go?
All right, if we continue through this, I think the next one is clear. We've already done the updates on that one on the picture. So slide 5, right? That looks reasonable. I can't remember if there's anything we wanted to change there other than making the picture prettier.
Yeah, we have to.
Slide 5. No, really the only thing, the one thing we need to talk about, we did move some boxes around on this slide, and we didn't move, no, it looks like we did move them around on 9. Remember we moved the dedicated processor up closer to the trust line, instead of below it. So we did do that on both. So yes, this one I think is great. It would be, I would really love to have this diagram done with our font, with our color scheme, and because this one gets used. This slide has been used in almost every single deck we've ever done.
Just to be sure, you're referring 5, right? Slide number 5.
Slide number 5, yeah. Either that or slide number 9 with just the DPU portion of it on there. That's those two. What's that?
I just said we are on the same page. I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah.
This too is a good one. Many people liked it.
Yeah.
We were looking for the graphic though for this one, right? Because we wanted to make some changes to some of the sections as listed below.
Joe has it. Joe said he would share it. Maybe we can reach out to him.
If you, Sri, if you can get that image updated here so we can edit the content, that would be great.
I will do that.
Yeah, awesome.
Seven was our talk about why you should care about OPI. This is why the different constituencies that are member companies care about OPI. This, I think, would be the basis of a white paper that the business development team would use to go talk to potential members. It's these sort of benefits that get them.
Yeah, I agree. This is it. This is your dumbed down version or shrunk down version of a white paper.
Mhm.
that we could create, right, in this group.
Hmm.
So I'd love to see the content on this slide, the somehow I'd like to see the a better view for this, the colors, the fonts, maybe fewer words and a bigger picture, those sorts of things.
Yeah, see, if for a new guy, if you're looking at this picture, right, this arrow from lower cost to standards, somehow all these things are okay until this thing. Once I reach until lower cost, then this arrow is kind of. I'm not fully convinced. I don't know about you guys. Are you?
No, I
So
understand. So OPI is providing standards
Yeah.
that make it easier for end users to use and deploy.
Correct.
That drives broader adoption by end users.
Mhm.
That's a benefit to the vendors.
Yes,
That-
TC was right.
Yeah, it lowers because it that brings about lower cost
Correct.
because which is a benefit for end users. And we're hoping that cycle just keeps going. But you're right, how to get from lower
But
cost to
after that,
creating
the
standards.
the story was very good until you came until lower cost. After that, the story gets messed up here, is what was my concern.
Well, would it be easier or better if we flipped lower cost and broader adoption? If you went from standards to ease of deployments and use, which lowers the end user's cost, and that creates broader adoption. Broader adoption is
Broader
requires or
adoption
needs
means you
standards.
must have standards to
Yeah. Or maybe you can also go here from, that's what, from broader adoption to standards makes a lot of sense. At least compared to lower cost to standards.
Like, I think you can talk through this either way. Like
Correct,
this
correct.
here.
Ring to front or something like that.
Yeah, where's that button?
you got put behind, I think you have
Yeah, I'm
to,
working on just selecting that. I'll fix it. Give me a minute. I'll bring it back up.
yeah. There it is.
Let's try again.
There you go. Perfect.
Do we need a copyright OPI Linux Foundation? Do we copyright this presentation?
Creative Commons copyright, right?
Hmm,
No, he's talking about this one, right? The
The
footer.
disclaimer at the bottom of the images, at the bottom of each slide. Do we need that?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh,
It's-
Like, I don't see it in any other open source projects that we create presentations for. So I'm wondering if we care and the page numbers care about that as well.
yeah, this is for public consumption, so I think we should not. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of what I would want the branding team to do is fix all that stuff. Because you'll
And the
notice
numbering
that
is-
there are,
Numbering is also pretty kind of ugly.
yeah, numbering is ugly, and you look at some slides and the numbers on the slides twice. Like you look at slide 5 and there's a number in the lower right corner, as well as in the footer. So
Okay. Good.
that's the kind of stuff I want them to fix.
Sounds good.
I think the only thing that we were talking about was creating not only these links, but creating QR codes for these links and inserting them in slide number 8. And I didn't know if the LF had a QR code generator that they use. That's not just a cloud-based one, but that was something that we had talked about.
I think we do.
Okay.
I do think that's something that they can do. Or if not, if they can't do it, they'll just punt it back to me. So
Okay.
I'll figure it out.
Slide 9 is where we talk about the project goals. I think this one is that, again, whatever we do on slide 5 for this diagram, we need to replicate here.
So you'll want to have then, so slide 5, it's these two images together will be like one image, and then we'll need one image with just this one.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I agree.
And maybe even supply us with the image that has all of these boxes as individual things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we can change it later if we need to.
So we can change it later if we need to.
Cool.
Okay. Did someone just add a slide? Okay. Slide 10 looks blank. Was there something else going to go there?
I'm pressing Control Z to see if I didn't add that by accident. I didn't. All right. Yeah, not sure what happened there.
All right. Slide 11 then. This slide just needs to be organized better. And we talked about putting on 2 different slides, Premier members and then general members and contributors. So there are several companies that are contributing that aren't members or general members.
Oh, you have ordered alphabetically.
I ordered them alphabetically, yes.
Do we have the list of contributing members that are not general members? I don't see them here in the presentation.
AMD contributes quite a bit. AMD Pensando, and they're not a member. At one point, ARM was contributing quite a bit, Mark, but until you became members.
Hey, then I think we should also add a slide on OPI by numbers. That I have a slide. I will create it and present it to both the TSC and the board this week and next week respectively. Maybe we can take that slide and keep it fresh, up to date all the time.
Okay.
I'll put you down as slide number 10, but
Yeah.
maybe we want it after the members.
Yeah, maybe you can just name it as OPI by numbers, kind of something like that.
Move it there. Okay. Do you envision the contributing members and general members being together on the same slide? Or do we have 3 slides, one for Premier members, one for general members, one for contributing members? Paul, what do you think?
Oh, sorry. I was looking for Sridhar's by the numbers slide, and I got wrapped up in that. Let me get back to the proper slide deck. Again.
No,
So
I
which
think
slide?
Paul, you know, you
Paul?
missed his question. His question was, do you want to have a separate slides for premium members, general members, and other contributing non-members?
I mean, we talked about it because this slide, number 10, is quite busy.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
Let's
I-
put the general members with the contributing members, or the contributing members with the general members. Otherwise, you end up with 3 slides.
yeah,
sure,
yeah, I agree.
Now, we only have
have to-
AMD as a contributing member. So if we think of any others, we can add. I'll leave it at that for now.
yeah, I mean, there are others that have contributed, that are kind of active in some of the working groups.
But
So-
are they okay to put their logo, Paul?
That would be a question we'd have to ask them.
Because some will not agree. I don't know. We have to actually at least take their okay to use their logo. In fact, in some projects we wanted to use in even in some places also, we had to take their okay to use it.
Okay,
Yeah, their approval.
Is that something that the Linux Foundation chases down? Like, do you guys chase that down? or should
Yeah.
we-
We do that. We
Okay.
do that.
Okay, I'll add it here then, yeah.
yeah, and on this topic, we need someone needs to either ask the TSC working group leads who contributes that's not a general or premier member, or someone just needs to go scour and look at who's been contributing to GitHub.
Yeah, and do we also plan to use their names and logos in the website in future, or it will be only for this slide deck?
I think once you put it in a slide deck, you might have it on the website. If you're thinking about a blanket approval, I would consider that.
Yeah, that's what I think. Take an okay for both website and here, and see if they're okay.
Mhm.
Because in section we can have a website in a section in a website. It will just give more names and logos to the project. So
I'll ask in the TSC meeting.
I think Microsoft is another name I was about to tell.
Yeah.
Because they're contributing. And,
Oh, and that, yeah.
If we put them on the website though, how would we entice them to become members?
I'm more thinking that we do this ask more for permission in case we flip and this deck gets linked online. So
No, I
because of the
know,
2R thing.
And
I wouldn't put their logos up on purpose, right, as contributing members.
on the website,
Correct.
right, okay,
For that same reason, right? You want them to be funding and be a part of it.
right, yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I'm okay with it in the presentation,
yeah.
but I wouldn't put them
Yeah.
to on the website until they become members.
Yeah, so we should not use contributing members. Maybe we should use contributing organizations, I think, because the word members would mean they're members.
Yes.
Oh, yes, you're right. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm sorry I had to drop out for another call. I think you're almost.
Oh,
reaching
I
out.
do as well. So,
See you next week.
all right, see you next week. And May, I think 12 and 13
Mhm.
are good to be worked on by good to be worked on. So these resources links need QR codes again. And the scope of the technical working groups.
Okay,
And we're just calling them working groups, not technical working groups. There we go.
okay,
Awesome. Well
All
done
right.
there. That's great.
We got a little farther. Mark, before I drop, do you have time? Shoot, when do I have time Thursday? between 11 and 3. Do either of you have time in that time slot to work on this? And we can put a call out to the TSC as well to have
Thursday, 11 to 3. What time zone are you in?
11 to 3 Pacific, sorry.
I am free 11 to 2.
Okay,
I can do 1:30 to 2.
okay. How about we do 1 to 2? And I'll create an invite.
Yep.
And invite other people. So Thursday.
And then May can join for the second half. That's great.
Yeah. 1 to 2 Pacific. All right. I will do
And
that.
I don't know when's the right time, Paul. I'd like to talk about SmartNIC Summit as well soon, right? Just logistics, and are we going to meet out there? Like right now, I'm slated to attend. I'm going to be there, but I have no activity, no talks or anything like that. So if there's a need or an opportunity, I'd love to help out.
Okay, sounds good.
And really quickly, I have the draft of the press release. I'd like to send it to the both of you to review first, if that's okay.
Yes,
Sure.
yes, absolutely. I
Perfect.
owe you a quote. I owe you an updated quote for that one as well. So I'll look at that once you send it over. And in terms of registration for SmartNIC, do we get a discount or anything, or do we have to sign up and pay the $1,300 to attend?
Do
Have you
not
guys-
know.
That's a lot. Good Lord.
I am not intending to pay for it because I was planning on, because I've been organizing it with them, but I hadn't even thought about that. We'll
Okay.
have to ask Lance.
Okay, if you can check, that'd be great. I know we're getting 2 free passes because we're sponsoring as well, but we'll need more than that from our.
Okay,
So I'd like to know what our options are.
yeah, I don't know.
Again, we can pick it up on Thursday, maybe at the beginning of the call if there's any updates on that.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay,
All right, I
Bye,
gotta jump
folks.
to my next call.
yeah, same here. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.